All right, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a genuinely fascinating ancient fable. It's got everything: leadership, sacrifice, and a completely unopenable magical trunk. We're going to unpack the mystery behind Mehre's crown, a story that's literally survived centuries because its message is just so incredibly profound. Let's get right into it.
So picture this. What would you do if you stumbled upon this massive, ancient trunk, but there was a major catch? Raw power does absolutely nothing. You can't pry it open, you can't smash the lock, it's completely immune to force. Do you just walk away? Do you keep hammering at it out of sheer frustration? Well, our legendary queen's story kicks off with this exact, incredibly frustrating puzzle. And as you'll see, it tests way more than just physical strength.
Enter our protagonist, Ranii Mehre. She ruled this stunning ancient kingdom, and she was already famous for two big things: her deep wisdom and her absolute sense of justice. She wasn't one of those rulers who just chilled on a throne, you know. She actually walked among her people. She listened to them. It wasn't just a kingdom held together by rigid laws, it was built on this unbreakable, mutual trust between a leader and her people.
Now, tucked away in a dusty, forgotten room of her massive palace, Ranii Mehre finds that exact trunk we were just talking about. And right there on the front is this cryptic inscription. It reads, "Only one who thinks of others, not themselves, can open this." So suddenly, it's not just a locked box anymore, right? It's a literal test of character. I mean, how do you even prove your selflessness to a piece of furniture?
Well, think about what your average king or queen might do here. Most of them, driven by, let's be honest, pure ego, would probably just order their guards to smash the thing to pieces with sledgehammers. But Mehre, she chooses patience. She somehow senses that forcing it would destroy whatever ancient magic or wisdom is locked inside. So, instead of throwing a royal fit, she just waits. She lets the mystery be.
But wow, that patience gets put to the ultimate test, literally that very night. Out of nowhere, this massive, terrifying storm hits the kingdom. We're talking severe, relentless rain that just batters the region, causing catastrophic damage to people's homes and crops. Complete chaos. Suddenly, that locked trunk is the absolute last thing on her mind. Her people are in critical danger, the survival of her kingdom is on the line, and she has to act right now.
And she doesn't even blink. Confronted with this massive crisis, she doesn't call a committee or debate the budget. She literally orders the heavy doors of the royal treasury to be thrown wide open. She starts handing out the kingdom's gold to the hardest-hit families. She's giving out warm clothes right there in the freezing rain, supplying food to absolutely everyone. She basically empties her own royal reserves to get her people through the darkest night of their lives.
Okay, fast forward to the morning after the storm. The crisis has passed, the people are warm, they're fed, and they're safe. Now imagine an utterly exhausted Ranii Mehre. She gave literally everything she had that night. Just looking for a quiet moment to breathe, to gather her thoughts, she slowly wanders back into that old, forgotten palace room, where that mysterious trunk is still sitting there in the early morning light.
And guys, this is where the real magic happens. As she walks up to it without a key, without a single ounce of force, or even a spoken word, the heavy lid of the trunk just springs open completely on its own. The riddle was solved. Not by some clever password or brute strength, but by pure action. By selflessly emptying her treasury, by putting her people's survival way above her own wealth, she had flawlessly passed the trunk's ancient test.
So here is the great mystery behind Mehre's crown. Inside that trunk lay a breathtakingly beautiful ancient crown, resting right next to a simple, weathered piece of parchment. And the message on it was profound. Real kingship is in people's hearts, not the crown. The queen reads it and just smiles. The true secret of leadership was never about absolute authority or wearing the heaviest gold. It was always about service. True power comes from the people you uplift.
And you can actually see the real-world impact of her actions right away. Because from that day forward, the entire dynamic in the kingdom completely shifts. Her people actually stop calling her Rani, the formal title for queen. Instead, they lovingly start calling her Ma, which means mother. This wasn't a title she demanded by law, right? It was earned entirely through her genuine love and absolute sacrifice during their darkest hour. The literal crown on her head mattered so much less than the title she held in their hearts.
Which brings us to the core moral of this whole story. What actually makes a good ruler? What does an Acha Hukmran look like in real life? Well, it's clearly not someone who hoards wealth, sits comfortably behind high stone walls, or demands blind loyalty.
A true leader actively uses whatever power and resources they have to genuinely help others, especially when things get desperate. It's the realization that power isn't a prize, it's just a tool for doing good. So, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought for our explainer today. Look, you and I probably don't have a vast royal treasury, and we definitely don't have a magical, unopenable trunk sitting in our spare bedroom testing us, but we all have resources. We have time, we have energy, we have influence that can help ease someone else's storm. Leadership is an everyday choice. So, how will you use your power to help others today? Thank you so much.